Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another meal prep video. So here is everything that I'm going to attempt to meal prep today. If it starts to feel like it's too much or it's taking too long, I will tend to take something off, but I think all of these things are doable today. It's pretty early, so here's what we're gonna do. As most of you know, I do work outside the home. I have a job that is 40 plus hours a week. I work in the office 3 days a week, at home 2 days a week. And I leave the house on the days that I go to the office, I leave the house a little bit after 7. I usually don't get home till a little bit after 5. So I need to have things that are good for grab and go, snacks grab and go, lunches grab and go. Plus when I get home from work, I am not a night person. So the easiest that I can have for dinner, the best. Anything that I can have prepped ahead of time, the best. I have had to work through my issues of leftovers over the years, and I find I like to have things, or certain things that I don't mind having as leftovers, and one of those things are like soups and stews and chilies. That's why I make a lot of those on my channel. So all of these things are gonna kind of make up what will be lunches and dinners through the week. And then I do have a couple other dinners I'm having that you're not gonna see in this video. Like the dinner tonight, I'm making a pot roast, so I'll have that tonight. One night we're gonna do like taco salads. That'll be an easy thing to make up. But the rest of the stuff will be lunches and dinners. So I'm gonna do a big batch of turkey chili. You're gonna see my turkey chili is very similar to my taco soup. The seasoning is really the only difference between the two. But I like to change between the two of those quite often because, again, those make great leftovers. They are super low points. You can actually even make them 0 points depending on what you put in them. The one I'm making tonight is actually 0 points, or making, yeah. I don't know about the seasoning. I'm using a new seasoning, so I'll have to look at that. It may add points, but because of how many servings it is, usually if you use seasoning packets, it does not count points. Then I'm gonna make a chicken salad that I can have in a wrap. I have some wraps to use up. I have some pita wraps, some tortilla wraps. I also like to have this with some veggies. I like to use like bell peppers, kind of like in place of crackers with my chicken salad. So that would be a good lunch or dinner. I'm gonna make a batch of Mediterranean meatballs. The meatballs you can make into a wrap with pita wraps. You can throw it into a bowl. You can put them on a salad. So many things you can do with meatballs. So I'm gonna do a batch of Mediterranean meatballs. I do have some tzatziki sauce left over from last week. So that's what made me think to do the meatballs. To go in a bowl, like if I do this, do the meatballs as a bowl or as a wrap, I have a Mediterranean salad that I'm gonna do on the side dish. And then, I don't know, for some reason, coleslaw just sounded super good this week. I don't know, you guys know how you get like those cravings, like out of nowhere? That's what happened with the coleslaw this week. And I have a really, like a skinny coleslaw and a 0 points. And I can have that like with my chicken salad wrap or just to eat it. I also have some chicken, some frozen chicken. I can always heat up some frozen chicken, have some coleslaw on the side for dinner. So always a good option. Plus it's veggies and it's really good. Then, you guys, I rediscovered my love for protein pudding. Made those 2 different flavors last week in last week's meal prep video. Check out last week's meal prep video to see the other 2 flavors. I did a butterscotch last week and a banana cream, which was out of this world. This week, I'm gonna do a strawberry cheesecake and an Oreo cheesecake. I've not tried either one of these before, so this will be new. So stay tuned for my what I eat in a day video, or what I ate this week video that goes up usually on Thursdays, and you can see what I thought about those 2 different puddings. So let's go ahead and get into meal prep. We're gonna start with the turkey chili because I'm gonna put that in my crock pot and just kind of let it sit for a few hours in there. So let's go ahead and start with that, and then we'll do the rest of the meal prep. Here are all the ingredients for the turkey chili. Since I am using the 99% lean ground turkey, it will be a 0 point chili. So I'm gonna use a pound of this. I'm gonna add some carrots, lots of bell peppers. I'm gonna do the full green bell pepper, the full red bell pepper because I have 2 of these, half of each of these, and then the other half I'm gonna use for like my chicken salad. And then I have some chopped onions. I have some sweet corn, can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. I highly recommend getting the fire roasted ones, some bone broth, some kidney beans, and some black beans. A little lesson on kidney beans in case you did not know, check your label on kidney beans. A lot of different companies add sugar to your kidney beans. You are usually get a safe bet by getting the organic ones. They typically, most organic kidney beans, none of them have sugar. So if you ever scan your kidney beans and they come up with points, that's why they're coming up with points. Check the label. A lot of people don't scan their beans because back in the day, the Weight Watchers app wasn't very good with 0 point foods. You'd scan them and they would come up with points because the label wasn't translating well into a 0 point food. So a lot of people got out of the habit of scanning 0 point foods. And I think that kidney beans is probably one of those that people don't scan, knowing that beans are 0 points. But some of them put sugar. The ones with sugar have points. So just watch your label, pay a little bit extra for the organic ones, and there you don't have any with sugar. Don't know why they put sugar in them. It's a little bit ridiculous because no other beans put sugar, and the organic don't put sugar, so no idea why it does that. You don't have to use bone broth. You can just use regular chicken stock. I like bone broth. It has a little bit extra protein in it. I like the flavor of it in different soups and stews. It's just a really rich flavor. So I'm gonna go and get my crock pot out. I'm actually using my crock pot for a stew, so I have to get my pressure cooker out, but I can use it as a slow cooker as well. I'm gonna get my chopper out. I hate my chopper because I hate cleaning it, but I have a lot to chop today. So I'm gonna get that out and we're gonna put this stew together. I think I touched on this seasoning. I think I forgot. Typically I use my own seasonings for chili, but I saw this on the Walmart app when I was doing my grocery pickup order, and I love, love, love Kinder seasoning, as you guys know. And it just sounded really good. I just have a feeling that it's going to be amazing. And it's only 15 calories for a serving. So when you spread this over, I'm just not going to even count points for it. I'll put it in the tracker, see what happens. Typically, anytime your soups or chilies or stews are 6 or more servings, the seasoning packets don't count as points. I'm chopping veggies. I went ahead and have my pressure cooker. I set it to the brown setting, and I'm going to go ahead and just brown up that ground turkey. This is my veggie chopper. I gotta rinse it out because it's been sitting in my cupboard for a while, so it's kind of dusty. I really like it. I like the how well it chops. I just hate cleaning it because of these little like grate things. I have this little thing right here that cleans it. So I'm gonna go and rinse this off, and I'm probably gonna switch to voiceover because it's gonna get loud in here between my chopper and my meat over there browning up. So let's go ahead and get this cleaned up, and then we'll get to chopping. This is a beautiful little tool. So I think because I have so many veggies, I'm gonna take out some of these to add to my chicken salad because I really don't need this many for my chili, but you can see I do tend to put a lot of veggies in my chili. Just that's another good way to get some extra veggies in. The only other thing I need to cut with my chopper is gonna be some red onion and some celery for actually I think I'll just leave the celery out of my chicken salad since I'm doing so much of these veggies. So I just need to chop up some red onion and then I can put my chopper away. But I'm gonna go ahead and add these to this chili. Actually, first we're gonna add the seasoning to the chili. I like to add the seasoning before I add any liquid because I like to warm the seasoning up ahead of time. That way it just really helps activate that seasoning. Plus this meat is so low fat that I want to add a little bit of flavor. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add this in here, crunch up the meat a little bit more. Then we're gonna add in all of our veggies, saute those up a little bit before we add in our bone broth. Seasoning smells so good. It is so smoky, and I am a huge fan of like smoked paprika. I love liquid smoke. I love smoky barbecue sauce. I am such a sucker for smoked stuff. And this smells just like that. I mean, it is so good, you guys. If you can find that, I found it at Walmart. It was pretty cheap. It was like $1.28, and I think this is going to be a game changer for my chili. I really do. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab the onions and the corn, mix those up, and then we're going to add in 1.5 cups of bone broth. And actually, with all these veggies I have, I think I'm going to go ahead and do 2 cups of bone broth is what I'm going to end up doing. So look how rich and like just dark colored this broth is. That's what I love about bone broth. It just has such a rich color, and that's chicken bone broth too. It's just so full of flavor. So here we go, guys. This is everything. Now I'm gonna go ahead and bring this to a boil and simmer it for the next couple of hours. So you'll see that when it's all done. And then we're gonna go ahead and continue on with the rest of our meal prep. How many of you realized I forgot the beans and the tomatoes? Y'all, this is definitely, you can tell, this was the day I did not sleep very well the night before. So I'm gonna go ahead and open all these. I'm gonna drain and rinse the beans and add these to the chili. And then we will go ahead and simmer it. Oh my goodness, y'all. Let me know in the comments. Were all of you wondering, is she gonna add the beans and the tomatoes? Let me know. Next up, we're gonna make some Mediterranean meatballs. Set your oven at 400. This is gonna make 18 meatballs. So let me show you everything that goes into it. We're gonna do a pound of ground turkey. I'm using the 9% lean, so this is 0 points. We're gonna need a 1/4 cup of sun-dried tomatoes. Use the kind with no oil, it'll be 0 points. An egg, we need a 1/4 cup of green onion, 1/4 cup of feta, I'm using fat-free feta, 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan, some minced garlic. I'm using Greek seasoning and parsley. It called for some other seasoning, but I'm just gonna use that. One thing I'm not putting in that's in the original recipe I will link down below is breadcrumbs. I just don't use breadcrumbs. So the first thing we're gonna do is going to add in the julienne sun-dried tomatoes. Totally escaped me. What I did was I cut them up a little bit finer than what they were. Added in that 1/4 cup of fat-free feta. I'm just adding in some green onions and then also going to add in about a 1/4 cup of the grated Parmesan cheese. And like I said, this normally calls for breadcrumbs, but I just don't find the need to put breadcrumbs in meatballs. I have never had an issue with them falling apart. That's always been my understanding of why you use breadcrumbs, is so they don't fall apart. Never had that issue. With like meatloaf and things like that, I do tend to use it, but not for like meatballs. So I'm gonna add in an egg. We're just gonna add in some parsley. Of course, if you have fresh parsley, it's probably better in this recipe. And then I'm gonna add in this Greek seasoning. I love this Cavender's Greek seasoning. It is the best. So then I'm just gonna I always start any kind of my meatball mixture with my little chopper here. And then I end up going in with my hands and forming the meatballs. Now a little trick, especially when you're using this extra lean meat, sometimes it may be really sticky and you can just spray your hand a little bit with some non-stick cooking spray, and then that usually helps. I actually didn't have to do that with this mixture. It did not stick at all. Now, like I said, this meatball recipe makes 18 meatballs. So we're gonna go ahead and put these into the oven at 400 for 20 to 25 minutes. Mine took 25 minutes. While these are in the oven, we're gonna go ahead and make our Mediterranean side salad that I'll be using to go along with these meatballs. So for the side salad, what you're going to need is you're going to need some a cucumber, some tomatoes. I like to use these ruby rose, and I always peel my cucumber a little bit. We're going to need some fat-free feta. I'm just going to use a 1/4 cup of that, some green onions. We'll need some red wine vinegar, some lemon juice, some Kalamata olives, some chickpeas, red onion, some minced garlic, some more of that Cavender's Greek seasoning, and then some parsley. I will have the recipe linked down below that I kind of loosely baste this after. Now, I like my cucumbers to be kind of chunky, but you could cut them up a little bit smaller if you'd like, but I like mine, whenever I have like a side salad like this, I do like to have it kind of chunkier vegetables. I used 15 Kalamata olives. I used probably about a cup of tomatoes, and then I'm going to add in some red onion. If your person does not like raw onion, then you can leave this part off. And then I'm going to add in some green onion. This recipe also called for green bell pepper, but I'm not a huge fan of like raw green bell peppers, so I left that out of it. And then we're going to do our 1/4 cup of fat-free feta. And then this dressing for this actually called for olive oil, but I'm not going to use olive oil. I am not a huge fan of olive oil in dressings and salads and stuff, like on its own. I like, I don't mind making a dressing out of it, but just putting, like it had you putting in olive oil, red wine vinegar, and lemon juice. For me, just the red wine vinegar, which I used a tablespoon of red wine vinegar. Also added in some minced garlic, some parsley, and some of that Greek Cavender's seasoning. And then I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of the lemon juice. And that really helps keep the vegetables and stuff fresh throughout the week as well. And I tasted it and it was fine. I did not need the oil. But if you want to add an oil, you can add in like a tablespoon of avocado or olive oil as well, because that is what the recipe called for. I just don't think it's needed for the extra calories and extra points. And I know it's a healthier oil, but what I will probably do is add some avocado to this when I have it. So that's probably what I will do for my healthy fat in this. And then we have our drained and rinsed chickpeas, garbanzo beans, which again, almost forgot the beans. They were draining in the sink and I went to go rinse off my knife and realized, oh yeah, we need to put those in there. And I'm going to put up here for my tracker, so I put it into the Lose It app and also into the WW app. And so you'll see the points and the calories and all that come in at just it was 0 points because I did 4 servings for this. So it all came up to 0 points, even with the olives and the fat-free feta. And then I had the calories and all that here on the screen. And then here are the meatballs all finished. So again, I will have the calories and points and all that here on the screen as well. And you'll see the protein. These come in at 1. And I put this in as 6 servings. So 3 meatballs per serving is how I put this into the tracker. Now, some ways I'm going to have this. I'm going to use these Joseph pitas, and I can make like a pita out of it, add some tzatziki sauce, add some of this Mediterranean salad, and like 3 of the meatballs. That could be one way to have it. Or I may just do a bowl, and I can take the pitas and put them in the air fryer and make them crispy and kind of do a bowl with that. Or I can do a salad and just chop up some lettuce, add the meatballs on top, and then add a little bit of tzatziki sauce. So lots of ways that I can use these meatballs throughout the week. Next up, I'm going to make a chicken salad. Now, I like to use the canned chicken breast. I know a lot of people do not. I'm going to use some plain non-fat Greek yogurt, some mustard, some of this Lori's seasoning, and some of the Kinder's buttery poultry blend, which I absolutely love. And then I have some of the veggies that I chopped up earlier. Sometimes I'll add some light mayo to this, but I did not this time. But one thing I do with my chicken is I drain it and I rinse it really well. And then I also take a paper towel and get it really dry. And it comes out a lot like regular chicken. It's just so convenient in the can. And then I used about a 1/4 cup of plain non-fat Greek yogurt. I used about a tablespoon of the Dijon mustard, and then just kind of, measuring with my heart with the seasonings. And we're just going to mix that up. Now, I ended up adding just a little tiny bit more plain non-fat Greek yogurt, just because it's just a little bit dry. And then I'm just going to add in some red onion. And it depends on what I'm in the mood for, what veggies I add in there. Now, I had all these veggies left over. And so I'm just going to use those up a little bit. And then we have the green onion as well. Normally I put celery in this, but I really did not see the need for the celery to actually get it out and chop it up if I have all these other veggies in there. Now, I know I just said I didn't really like raw green pepper, but it's in there. We can always pick it out, right? So there we go. Now, the way I'm going to eat this is I'm just going to take a slice of bell pepper. That's why I have the red, orange, and yellow. This is for dipping. Yummy. It's so good. You just take a dip out of it and you eat it. Now, I put this in the tracker as 3 servings. So this is the nutrition facts for 3 servings of the chicken salad. I have 2 new protein pudding recipes to try out. So we're going to use this Core Power strawberry. Now, this is a little bit higher calorie and higher point, but then we're going to do 2 servings for this. And it was the only strawberry shake that I could find, so we went with it. And then I have some of the sugar-free cheesecake Jell-O. So I thought I was filming when I put everything into the bowl, and I was not, but I'll show you when I do the other one. So I just have it all in here, the cheesecake, the full thing of the strawberry shake, just poured in this container, put it in the refrigerator, and it's done in like overnight. The next we're going to make is an Oreo cheesecake. So we have the cookies and cream Premier Protein. And then we have the sugar-free cheesecake Jell-O again. And we're using 2 tablespoons, I don't think I mentioned that earlier, 2 tablespoons of the Jell-O pudding mix, just the dry mix, and then the full container of your protein shake. So here we go. Now I'm filming. I was not filming before when I did the strawberry one. So we're just doing the entire container of your protein shake. And you guys can come up with so many different variations of this protein pudding. It's just limitless, honestly. So we have that full container in there, 2 tablespoons of the dry mix. Again, make sure you use the dry mix, don't make it up. And then you're just gonna either whisk it, or you can use, like, if you have one of these little whiskers, I think they're the best to use these things. But you can whisk it also by hand whisking it. So we're just gonna mix that up, pour it into our container, and like I said, it only takes actually a few hours for this to set up, but I just put it in overnight. What you see on the screen is for 2 servings, like I said, and I add a little bit of sugar-free whipped topping, sometimes add on some fruit on top, and we have a yummy protein pudding. Another thing I prepped this week was just to make some cold brew coffee. So I dusted off my old cold brew maker, which this is not my favorite, but I may get a new one. I've been hearing some great things about a couple other ones I've seen, but I'm gonna make this cinnamon vanilla because I'm using my vanilla latte protein shakes this week. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. And then lastly, my turkey chili is still cooking, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like so I can go ahead and start editing this video. I'm going to show you the nutrition facts here on the screen for this 0 points on WW, 307 calories, you guys, so much protein. And what I'm going to do is serve it with these Good Thins corn chips. It's so good with these, and you can have like 41 of these corn chips for 4 points. And I just like to dip them in my chili, and it's yummy and ready to go. So thank you guys, as always, for taking time out of your day to click on my videos and watch them. I hope these give you some really great ideas for meals. Stay tuned for my What I Ate This Week video, which will be up later in the week, and you can see how all these meals come together. And I'll see you guys then. Have a great day. Bye, guys.